person and online. I will now ask my sister commissioners, after I introduce myself properly, to introduce themselves, and I'll call them out by their names to do that. I was appointed my first year by the Women's Caucus of Legislators, and most recently I've been appointed by Governor Baker before he left his office, and I serve on the behalf of the governor on the commission. Sitting up here, I want to say, oh yeah, I'm the longest serving on the commission. The youngest, no, sir. The Vice Chair, Christine Monska, the youngest, but you know, we can always claim our age difference. And I reside in Boston, and I am a consultant, work for myself at the moment. And next, pass the microphone over to my Vice Chair, Christine Monska, to introduce herself and a little bit about what she does.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm Christine Monska. I am Vice Chair of the Commission, and I also co-chair our Girls Empowerment and Leadership Initiative. And I am a Caucus of Women Legislators appointee. I'm now serving my second term, and I am originally from Western Massachusetts, born and raised in East Hampton, Mass. I'd worked in Holyoke and in Springfield, and then way out in the Berkshires too. Now I live in the eastern part of the state in Newton, and I spend most of my time out on the South Coast in New Bedford in my day job as Executive Director of the Women's Fund South Coast. Pass it over to you, Kim. Okay.
You're all lucky I have two microphones. So excited to be here this evening. My name is Kim Shea, and I am the Secretary of the Commission. I am an appointee from the Caucus of Women Legislators, and this is my second year. I live out in the north central part of Massachusetts in a little town called Winchendon, so not too far away from here. My day job is I am a nurse, and I am actually the Dean of Nursing and Health Sciences at a community college in the Commonwealth. So excited to be here with you all this evening, and thank you all for coming out.
Commissioner Reyna.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacia Arena. I was appointed by the Caucus of Women Legislators. I'm in my second term. I'm also finance chair. And in my day job, I run a grassroots nonprofit in Springfield. I'm also a Springfield resident. So if you're familiar, Arise for Social Justice, it informs the lens here on the commission for the things that I do, keeps me really busy and on my toes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gamelta Carvalho. I am the chair of Legislative and Public Policy Committee for the commission this year. I live in Natick, and in my day job, I'm the Vice President of Administration and Chief Information Officer for a children's behavioral health nonprofit called Wayside.
Thank you. I am Carol Campbell. I have been on the commission for about 2 years, appointed by Governor Baker as he was leaving. I'm very happy to be here. I live in Amherst. I work in Chicopee. I'm the president and CEO of Chicopee Industrial Contractors, and I bring the lens of business to the commission and to everyone here, my lens. And I'm very happy to see everybody and very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Online, Shata Verdi. Divya?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm Divya Chaturvedi. I'm one of the state commissioners appointed by the Caucus of Women Legislators. This is my second year. I'm also the vice chair for the Finance Committee, and I work with Tanisha, who's our treasurer, and Audrey on that. I have just moved to the Berkshires. Literally just a month ago. I am the new exit director at Elizabeth Freeman Center. So now I call Berkshires Pittsfield my home. I'm excited to be here and excited to join this hearing and welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Hall?
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Audrey Hall. I am proud to say I was just reappointed to my third term by Senate President Karen Spilka just recently. Over these last 6 years, I've served as vice chair of the commission, vice chair of the legislative committee, chair of the finance committee, and secretary of finance committee. And I oversaw the COVID action committee as well during the pandemic. I live in Framingham, and I'm looking forward to the next 3 years on the commission. I've been working for many years as a strategic communications consultant, specializing in helping small businesses and elected officials with branding and messaging. And I work as an executive producer and host of a talk show, and I've been in the media industry for 30 years. I get passionate about justice for women and equity and equality, and I'm really happy to see all of you here tonight.
Commissioner Fox?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jane Fox. I hail from the town of Freetown in southeastern Massachusetts. I was appointed by the speaker. I'm currently in my third term on this state commission, but I, prior to that, served on a regional commission for 3 terms as well down in Bristol County. I'm currently vice chair of program and planning. My day job is I'm passionate about transportation as much as I am many things. I'm with Mass DOT working on a commuter rail project. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Commissioner Shaw?
Hello, my name is Sonia Shaw. I am from Natick, Massachusetts. I was appointed by Senator Karen Spilka. This is my 3rd year on the commission. And in my day job, I am the executive director of the Sudbury Foundation, which is a small private foundation in Metro West.
Thank you. Is that all of the state commissioners that are online? I don't see any more of my sisters in the list. All right. Regional commissioners, Hampshire-Franklin, any in the house, please stand. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sisters. Yes. In the house also, I know we have representative from Representative Mindy Dom's office. Thank you, thank you. And online, we have Deputy Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Andrea Gale Bennett. Andrea, say hello so we can see your face on the screen, and then we can, that's the only way the camera is going to jump to you if you say hello.
Hi, good
Here you
evening.
go.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm really just here to listen and learn. You know, the commission does a lot of incredible work, but there is definitely that intersection of the Mass Commission of Women and Veteran Services. And so I'd love to be able to just support and collaborate with other agencies and organizations to just make sure the needs of women veterans are met in a holistic, comprehensive way.
Thank you, thank you. And did Senator Warren's person, are you online with us yet? Jillian, are you there? Okay, and how about Rep Blaze, Natalie Blaze's office? Are you on there with us yet? Okay, not yet. All right. So thank you, and a special thank you to UMass Amherst for hosting us this evening. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am pleased that such a wide array of local residents, organizations, stakeholders, and elected officials were able to attend this hybrid public hearing. We'll be moving quickly this evening, so please be sure that we have your contact information so we can follow up with you. If you have written testimony, please turn that in. Shaitia Spruill, our executive director, just stood up. And Tina, where was Tina? Tina Games, Tina's over there. So our regional director. So those are the 2 staff people. You can pass any information you want to give us to those 2 ladies. Raven is here with us also. She's another staff member with the MCSW. You have Shalea online. You have Ellen, our communications person, working diligently up there, making sure that we are doing our Zoom thing the right way. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm about to turn over to our chairwoman of Legislative and Public Policy, Chairwoman Gamel DeCarvalho. Oh, yeah, so let me
I'll turn it
also
over
put the
for-
disclaimer, yes. So, Dee Carvalho came down with laryngitis, so Arena is going to read for her.
So, as Tanisha again, Chair of Finance. So the MCSW was legislatively created in 1998 as an independent state agency seeking to advance equality for women across the state and to promote their rights and opportunities. The commission consists of 19 volunteer commissioners who are appointed by the governor, the Senate president, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the caucus of women legislators. The commission represents and recognizes all women, regardless of their age, race, color, creed, abilities, language, socioeconomic status, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender assigned at birth. Together, our purpose is to provide a permanent, effective voice for women throughout Massachusetts. And our mission is to study and report on the status of women in the Commonwealth. We are charged with advising executive and legislative bodies on the effect of proposed legislation on women. In short, the stories and issues that we hear from you, we share directly with the State House. We fight to elevate our most pressing issues in real time, but we can't do this work without all of you. The MCSW seeks your input as we work toward advancing the status of women in Hampshire and Franklin counties and across the Commonwealth. So after today's event, we'll be circulating a survey. We hope you'll take the opportunity to share your voice and your feedback with us. So, QR code.
Thank you, commissioners. I want to be, sorry, I'm remiss in mentioning one of our founding mothers, one of our founding sister commissioners, and an emerita commissioner is online with us. Susan is there, and I apologize that I didn't see your name earlier. So thank you. Vice Chair.
Hi, everyone. It's Christine Monska, again, Vice Chair of the Commission, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do. To fulfill our mission, the Commission conducts regional public hearings across the state to collect testimony and opinions on women's issues and concerns. Our public hearings provide a safe and open space for all women in their communities to be heard and to share their lived experience and the issues that impact their daily lives. Any subjects around issues that women face or obstacles that hinder the ability for all women to experience equity are welcome topics. The MCSW's charter is clear. We exist to empower the women of the Commonwealth. We are the bridge between the issues you face and the decision makers who have the ability to change, to alter, or prioritize policy changes to make our lives easier. In the past, our hearings have brought attention to issues such as economic independence and self-sufficiency, domestic violence, and access to education and resources that support women and their families, and so much more. Testimony gathered at public hearings directly informs the Commission's legislative agenda and policy priorities that we advocate for year-round. So today's agenda will introduce who we are, why we're here today, and why your voices matter so much. You may be nervous about being here today, but I hope to set you at ease when I say that your voice truly matters. You being here really does matter to us. Thank you for being here and sharing your stories.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes, thank you. Again, hello, my name is Audrey Hall and I am a commissioner. And this hearing is a public meeting and an opportunity to be yourself, to find others like you, and to share a story in a way that will positively influence the work that we do on behalf of all women in the Commonwealth. So the MCSW works to create change in the lives of women, and your public testimony guides our policy and our advocacy platform. But what is public testimony, you might ask? Well, it's when you or any member of the general public wants to tell us what they know. Can't afford your childcare? We want to hear about it. So we can prioritize legislation to increase tax credits or care employees and more. The purpose of public testimony is to gather those facts and hear from the general public. And you can make your testimony here today orally, or you can submit written testimony to the MCSW at any time. We incorporate this into our annual reports, our research and data, and policy recommendations that we make to our appointing authorities like the governor and the Caucus of Women Legislators, among others. And we welcome you to state your name and town clearly and speak for 3 to 5 minutes on the issue that has brought you here today. And tonight we'll hear from you all about what issues are important to you, this community. What are important to you in this community? What are important to you in your life? And each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public testimony. And we'll give a gentle time reminder to make sure that everyone who has joined us this evening can be heard. We appreciate you trying to stick to the time. This is a hybrid hearing, and so we want to thank you for joining us on the Zoom from all corners of the Commonwealth, 351 cities and towns across the Commonwealth. We'll also be hearing from some folks testifying virtually, and we'll do our best to ensure everyone is heard this evening. And remember to mute your mic if you are not speaking to show respect for your fellow participants. And afterwards, we encourage all in attendance to share their testimonies with us in writing to inform our work going forward. And if we run out of time, please email us. And now, without further ado, I'll pass it back to our chairwoman to moderate the public testimony portion. And my thanks to all of you for being here with us this evening.
Thank you, Sister Commissioners. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to invite up Hampshire-Franklin Regional CSW Chair, Bonnie, to be the first testifier. Thank you so much.
Chair Tuitt, before she starts, I just want to share a housekeeping item because I'm going to be doing the timing. And so it's 3 to 5 minutes. So I can give you a warning if you're getting close to the 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Bonnie McCracken. I live here in Amherst. Carol has lived here longer than I have, but we're longtime residents. I'm not here to testify, but I'm here to tell you a little bit about our great community. Hampshire-Franklin Commission represents 2 counties, which means we represent 46 towns, over about 1,270 square miles of land, and women represent 53.3% of the population in Hampshire County, and 50.8% of women live in Franklin County. Statewide average from the data I could find today, the population for women is 51.1. So Hampshire County is have a few more. So we're home to 5 colleges, 2 colleges for women and a community college. So we have a very diverse neighborhood in amongst this, this region. And that's why I live here. So it was almost 9 years ago today that I actually was at the State House giving testimony in support of establishing our Hampshire-Franklin Commission on the Status of Women. And from what my testimony in establishing the commission, we have written this resource guide. It provides resources, access to information, for anything that you need to know about Hampshire and Franklin County, whether you need access to medical care, domestic violence resources, birth control, education. It's all in here. We'll be going on our 3rd publication, and it's right over here on our table where you can help yourself to backpacks, stickers, and we have a few of our recent shirts. So they're all available for you to take. They're there for you. So thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. Did you want to say anything on behalf of the rep? You're good? Okay. Anyone in the room that's registered to testify? No one registered to testify, but we'll be back to you. Come back. Online, any of the online registrants there for testimony? Hold on.
Yes, this is Molly Ruggles. I have testimony.
Yes, ma'am. All right, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let me just pull up my my notes. So my name is Mary Ann Ruggles. I go by Molly. I'm a longtime Somerville resident, a mother, a feminist, a member of the LGBT community. And although I don't officially represent the views of Democrats for an informed approach to gender, I am active in and supportive of their organization. I very much appreciate the work that you do and the opportunity to say my remarks tonight. So thank you. I'm here to present arguments in support of prioritizing biological sex over gender identity as it relates to Massachusetts law and policy. My arguments are not based on bigotry or hate. I deplore any kind of bias or harassment of transgender people. Just like anyone else, they are part of the human family. In addition, I support all civil rights for transgender people, except when those rights encroach upon the hard-won rights of natal girls and women, such as, for example, in sports and athletics. There are other areas as well, but the sports area is what I'll speak on today. In sports, a small percent of physical competitive advantage can have a huge impact on who places, who wins, and who doesn't. Natal men and boys are, on an average, stronger, taller, heavier, and faster than natal women and girls. Of course, there are exceptions, but the average is indisputable, and that is why there are sex categories in sports. But if a trans woman, in other words, a natal male who transitions to a trans woman, if that individual takes estrogen, has surgery to add breasts, and turn their penis into a vagina, that person will still have a competitive physical advantage in women's sports. Some arguments have been made that if a trans woman athlete undergoes puberty suppression at an early age, this will erase all athletic benefits related to the male sex. But even that is not true. Even before puberty, middle school boys on average are already 5 to 10% faster than girls. And in my submitted testimony, I'll relate a citation to that effect. I think trans girls and trans women should have the right to compete in sports, but the only fair solution is for them to have their own class of competition or to make male categories open categories. It simply is not fair to place a trans woman or trans girl athlete against a natal female. This is relevant for school sports all the way through college and professional and semi-professional sports. At college and semi and professional levels, the competitive physical advantage of natal males over natal females can impact women's careers, scholarship standing, and athletic future. There are also safety concerns when pitting trans girls against natal girls or trans women against natal women. There is a risk of danger and injury because of the greater physical prowess of trans girls and trans women. At the elementary and high school level, current DESE guidelines allow athletes to compete according to their gender identity. So a trans girl can compete against natal girls. Although I support the importance of participation in sports for all young people, it is simply not fair to place trans girls or trans women in competition against natal girls or natal women for the reasons that I've cited. So in conclusion, prioritizing biological sex over gender identity is important for fairness and safety in sports for women and girls. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next, from Susan Landowski from Worcester Regional CSW. Susan, are you online still?
I am here. I did not know that I had testimony. I had mentioned possibly. However, if other people go before me, I can pull something up and be somewhat prepared.
Okay, I can go to the next person would be Lisa Black.
Hello. Thank you so much for this opportunity to testify. I'm Lisa Black and I live in Lexington. I'm co-founder of Massachusetts Women for Sex-Based Rights, and like Molly, also a supporter of Democrats for an informed approach to gender. However, I am here speaking only for myself. On October 8th, Reem Assalam, the United Nations independent expert on violence against women and girls, spoke before the UN General Assembly to deliver her report, which explores the various forms, causes, and consequences of violence against women and girls in sports. In a media briefing about her report, she said that violence against women and girls in sports, quote, is a serious, systemic, and systematic human rights issue that demands immediate attention at all levels. The report addresses 13 categories of violence, but one single source in particular runs through the majority of these categories: the inclusion of males in female sports. I'm testifying today to draw your attention to this important report, share 2 excerpts, and request that you give your immediate attention to the report's concerns and recommendations as they relate to the inclusion of males in female sports in Massachusetts through your own research, fact-finding hearings, public forums, reports, policy recommendations, and legislative endorsements. Because of time constraints, I will read excerpts from only 2 of the 7 relevant categories and will submit an unabridged testimony with additional pertinent excerpts, including recommendations for your future consideration. Also, I want to note that under the category of physical violence, which I won't read, this UN report has a footnote that refers to an incident that took place right here in Massachusetts this past February. Regarding psychological violence, the report states, the knowledge of female athletes that they may be competing against males included in female sports, including males that identify as females or males with specific XY differences in sex development, causes extreme psychological distress due to the physical disadvantage, the loss of opportunity for fair competition and of educational and economic opportunities, and the violation of their privacy in locker rooms and other intimate spaces. The harmful consequences of psychological violence include eating disorders, headaches, insomnia, fear, anxiety, diminished concentration, aggressiveness, reduced self-confidence, substance abuse, self-harm, isolation, and decline in academic or athletic performance. It can also result in feelings of guilt, suicidal thoughts, depression, and humiliation. Regarding denial of the right to freedom of expression, opinion, and assembly, the report states, female athletes and coaches who object to the inclusion of males in their spaces due to concerns about safety, privacy, and fairness are silenced or forced to self-censor. Otherwise, they risk losing sporting opportunities, scholarships, and sponsorships. Many are also accused of bigotry, suspended from sports teams, and subjected to restraining orders, expulsion, defamation, and unfair disciplinary proceedings. Other females have quit sport owing to pressure, threats, including death threats, and verbal abuse. Such consequences have been reported in the United States, among other places, violating the fundamental human rights of female athletes to freedom of belief, opinion, and expression. Women face aggression when they assemble with respect to these issues. Thank you for this opportunity and for the work you do on behalf of the women and girls of the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Thank you. Online, Vadeline Jules.
Hi.
You're also, you can go ahead, Vadeline. Yeah.
My name is Madeline Jules, and I am a Boston resident. And my conversation today is in regards to predatory lending and how it affects women. A few years ago, during the housing market crash, my partner and I, he had lost his house due to foreclosure. Through research, we were able to find a group, City Life, that was helping with homeowners to, fight against the bank. One, we were introduced to a group called SUN, Stabilizing Urban Neighborhoods, and Aura Mortgage. So they offered to purchase the house and sell it back. However, we would find out years later that we were in a shared appreciation mortgage where we could not refinance if we wanted to, because the shared appreciation mortgage required that we would pay more than 50% of the equity on our home. So what that means, for instance, we had lost the house to a fire. We were able to rebuild. Um, After rebuilding, we were in a better financial position to say, hey, we want to refinance. Our interest rate was 6.5 to a lower mortgage. And when we approached Blue Hub Community Capital, we were told that we would need to pay $300,000 plus what we owed on the mortgage of $115,000. Obviously, we were surprised by that, and we said, well, we cannot afford that. How do you expect to take all the equity from the home? We then started doing some research and found other homeowners who were affected by this. And so this brought onto a class action lawsuit which actually we just had a hearing with the Superior Court summary judgment, and we're awaiting the summary judgment decision. However, the other thing that is going on with Blue Hub Community Capital is they've tried to go to the State House to pass legislation. One such legislation is current right now in the State House. It's under the economic bill that the governor is trying to pass. It is Section 256. If they are to pass this bill, it would give them immunity from facing whatever the judge said that, let's say if the judge says that they did violate some consumer protection laws, they would not have to adhere to that, because the class, not the class action lawsuit, but the law would cover them. So my ask today is that we do not let mortgage lenders like Blue Hub Community Capital, who is a nonprofit making hundreds and $1 million, to take equities from homeowners, in particular, homeowners who are marginalized, women, people of color, veterans, and elderly, which is majority of the people that they serve in deserving communities, and those who are not financially savvy. They came well recommended by the Attorney General's office, so we weren't expected to be scammed. And so if this issue, I think, is a very pertinent in regards to women, because it has affected myself personally as someone who just recently had a medical issue in regards to that. It has affected, because it has kept me and my family from being able to financially stabilize ourselves, as Blue Hub says they've helping family. So I ask those of you who are concerned about women issues that you reach out to the governor's office, to the state legislators, and urge them to not pass the housing bill, Section 256. So that is my ask for today, that we hold Blue Hub Community Capital for their predatory lending practices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Gary Yard.
Hi. My name is Gary Yard. I live in West Springfield, Massachusetts. But I'm going to speak about a friend of mine. Her name, I'm going to call her today Laura. Laura was in, she had a problem with predatory lending. She had a unbelievable tragedy with her home. There was an auction after her, during COVID, and she had 2 units, and she had a third unit where she lived. She had an aggressive bank that didn't have the promissory note, and the promissory note is like a bank check that should show that they own the house. Right after that, she tried to get this promissory note to make sure that they did have the renal, but they did not have the renal note, and therefore they had no rights. Even though so, the bank went ahead and got an auction and went ahead and auction off her place. Someone bid, and the person that bid, or a company that bid, she didn't know who it was, but a couple of days later they came with bulldozers and bulldozed some beautiful trees and hedges that she had. She thought that was some construction work on the street, but when she realized they were already destroying all those hedges that she had for more than 20 years. And they began to destroy also the porch where she lived. That was a horrible situation. Laura also had called the police, and the police didn't understand nothing about foreclosures. And so right after that, Laura spoke to the police, and the police said that they needed to stop, and they did. She went through housing court and some procedures, and while she was on this situation, she didn't have a car, and going back and forth, she fell and injured her back to the point where she couldn't walk. So Laura asked the court for time and for what you call that, but she was disabled, and they should have given some consideration because of that. Well, kept fighting, and me being part of Massachusetts against predatory lending, and I'm a volunteer. We tried to help her as much as we could. She couldn't get computer services. She didn't have online anything. She had no. There's so many things that there's so short time that I couldn't explain everything. But the constable later, after going through some of the course of the court case, got a physical eviction, and they got a constable that did not have the appropriate license to evict someone physically, and if they did execute on that, they would be in danger of breaking the law because they could kill someone just like they did with George Floyd. If they don't have the appropriate training. So they become.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm going to apologize for the interruption, but you're very, very close to the 5-minute time. You have about 20-ish seconds left. My apologies for the interruption.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to wrap up with saying that they evicted her illegally, saying that the house was condemned, and they called and later found out that the house was never condemned. They had a stretcher and an ambulance next to trying for her to get to get out. They were trying to say that she was insane. To this point, she's still fighting, and there's so many things. It's so traumatic, and I just wanted to say that nobody should be going through anything like that, especially women. But thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you. I see Grace Ross on the. Grace, are you testifying or just listening in tonight? Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you saw my name. I was first through the link from Grace, but my name is Karina Herrera.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Okay, Karina, go ahead.
Okay, and you have to excuse me. I have an accent, and sometimes it might take me a little bit longer, but I try to be as concise and as possible. I have something written, but I'm going to deviate a little bit of what I wrote because I'm going to tell you a story. I arrived to this country. I'm from Dominican Republic, and I grew up in Puerto Rico. And I came to this country, to University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I obtained 2 degrees, a dual degree. Then I moved to Massachusetts, and I went to WPI, where I got a master's degree in management information systems. I worked for over 20 years in Boston for different financial technology industry, in the financial technology industry, like for Fidelity Investments, State Street Global Markets. I was making over $200,000. In the meantime, I got pregnant, had a daughter, and I was supporting her by myself, bought a house. So sometime later, well, actually, I was a victim of a real estate scam. In which all my money was stolen, including things with my house, and the Attorney General's office was helping me. But then the person that was helping me, Michael Lecaros, left the Attorney General's office. And the bank, what they did, US Bank, was ask me to apply for modification after modification after modification, all denying the modification. Well, they did an illegal foreclosure. It was illegal because I had an FHA loan. And there's a rule in FHA, a HUD regulations that says if the property is within 200 miles of an office of the bank, of the mortgagee, then they are obligated to offer you a face-to-face interview, not only by letter, but to show up to your house. They never did that. We went to court, and the U.S. Bank sold the property, purposely sold the property to a real estate investor. They brought into court during the trial this person representing U.S. Bank, saying that there were no offices of U.S. Bank close to my property, which I live in Worcester, Massachusetts, within 200 miles of my property. The judge, although now there's a whole bunch, but he took his word as the gospel. A judge that actually asked me to, if I was maintaining the house by cleaning and mopping floors. So that's Judge Jeffrey Winnick. So he ruled in favor of them. And there's a law, which is MGL 257 Acts of 2020, that says if you are applying for emergency housing, a judge cannot dismiss your appeal or execute an eviction or issue for an execution of an eviction. So I applied for raft. Okay. The judge, anyways, he decided that he was bigger than God, and ignored that I have applied for raft in order to make the use and occupancy payments that he set up, which were $2,500. By this time, I had a nervous breakdown. I was hospitalized three times. I have lost my job. I lost everything. I just had that house in which my father, 81-year-old, he was 81-year-old. He lived there, and my daughter. So I went from making over $200,000 to $3,000 a month in disability, and he ordered me to pay $2,500. So I went to Raft, and while I was in the process, I submitted evidence. He decided to ignore that and issue an execution. What did I have to do? Declare myself bankruptcy, because that's the only way that I could stop it. Okay. My daughter, who graduated from NYU, had to declare bankruptcy as well to stop the next eviction. And and my father too, we destroy our credit because this judge refused to follow the law. Then I found out through a newspaper, because I kept doing research, that they were actually in office within 200 miles of my property at the time that my loan defaulted. Okay. And so I brought it. I wrote a motion for reconsideration to bring this evidence, because that will throw away the ruling. What the judge did was rejected the new evidence. He even, at one point, he even closed the court to the media and to the public. It was just a motion for a new execution. And he even did not allow the public or the media to enter the court and had me there trapped. And so, to make a long story short, I was brutally assaulted last year on September 7 by 3 constables. They put on handcuffs on me. They dragged me like a dead animal through the front yard where everybody could see me, in a nice neighborhood in the West Side. And then this was 3 constables, which didn't have the post-certification training, that they were not allowed even to touch me or arrest me. And they arrested me and then filed criminal charges against me. Okay? We have the
My
videos.
apologies for the interruption. Just wanted to let you know you have about 15 seconds left. Thank you.
Okay, just let me finish. The thing of it is that I lost my house September 10th. I'm homeless, completely homeless. I lost everything. I am worse than indigent, okay? And I cannot even rent a place because there's no place that will rent to me, okay? There's these buildings, these affordable housings that they have built, and they will not rent anything to me. My daughter had rights of possession to the property. They were violated. And I don't know what to do. And I have asked help from everybody. And I am living in what? In my car? So this is my American dream. So how can you please help me? I need help.
Much. Thank you. And can you make sure you email over your testimony and your information, and we can possibly guide some resources. Everyone that turns in a testimony today, we'll seek out to contact the right office, right department for you, and send that information to you. We hope we'll be able to.
Could you please put it in the chat, because I don't have the email or whatever.
Yes.
Put it in the chat who to send the emails to. Okay, thank you.
Yes, no worries. All righty. So that's all of our online testimony. We're going to go back to in the room, and one of my sister friends that I've known for many years, Dana Carnegie from the Girl Scouts of Central and Western Mass. So, hey, come on up. Yes.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming out to Western Massachusetts, those of you who live out near Boston. I hope your ride was spectacular with looking at the foliage on the way. I'm Dana Carnegie. I am the Communications Director for Girl Scouts of Central and Western Massachusetts. We serve girls in 5 counties, Berkshire County, Franklin County, Hampshire, Hampden, and Worcester County. The Girl Scout mission is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. My comments are informed by extensive research our national organization conducts and program experience in working with girls for over 112 years. I noticed on the commission website that you have either endorsed or are tracking H3544, resolutions recognizing the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on women and girls, especially women of color in the Commonwealth. I want to share with you work Girl Scouts is doing in respect to mental health wellness in girls. Even before COVID, we were already in the middle of a youth mental health crisis, and the pandemic only exacerbated the stress on girls' mental health. Girl Scouts is taking a more dedicated approach to supporting the needs of girls in our communities. Our mental wellness initiative aims to give girls tools they need to support their own mental wellness and to give staff, volunteers, and parents and caregivers the resources they need to support girls and practice self-care. Studies show that girls are disproportionately affected by the increasing mental health crisis in America, and National Alliance on Mental Illness data shows nearly 90% of parents are now prioritizing their child's mental health over academic achievement. Yet teachers are tapped and therapists have patient wait lists up to a year long. The Girl Scouts Mental Wellness Initiative aims to equip our youth and their caregivers with the tools needed to support their own mental health wellness. In the past few years, in response to the national mental health crisis, Girl Scouts has released mental wellness programming and training, including Girls Speak Out Mental Health Report, which was from 2020, Resilient, Ready, Strong, which is a patch program we introduced in 2021, and started offering access to training for adult volunteers in Mental Wellness 101 and Youth Mental Health First Aid to support leaders identifying potential issues. Last year, Girl Scouts expanded our mental wellness program with the introduction of 3 mental wellness patches made possible by the HCA Healthcare Foundation and developed in partnership with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, known as NAMI. They are Knowing My Emotions, Finding My Voice, and Showing Up for Me and You. They are mental wellness patches designed for girls in grades 4 through 12. More recently, we're doing community-based programs that are going from girls as young as grade 3 to 8. We appreciate you keeping girls' mental health wellness top of mind and making recommendations regarding policy that would improve the outcome for our youth who are experiencing these very real and serious challenges. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you when we have our hearings out this way. Back online, Susan, you ready?
I don't know if you can see me, but you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Massachusetts, my name is Suzanne Yurden Lewandowski, and I live in North Brookfield. And I am a Worcester County Commissioner on the status of women and have been so since 2014, although now I'm on, I just sit back now and let the others do most of the work, and I just attend meetings. Massachusetts recently became the 7th state in the country to pass legislation classifying coercive control as a form of domestic violence. I want to thank everybody who worked hard to make this happen. However, I believe more has to happen to support women and children before, during, and after such trauma happens. I am a survivor from domestic violence, sexual trauma, an eating disorder, a 3-pack-a-day smoking addiction, and hardcore alcoholism. Boys will be boys, words I often heard growing up in the 60s. My story is most likely different from what you have heard from many. Coercive control is a silent trauma that robs you of joy in your daily existence. It scars the survivor with anxiety, depression, self-loathing, nightmares, and prevents you from being fully engaged with life. I was a normal teenager. I was even one of the first I was the one who first initiated the step of intimacy with my long-term boyfriend. However, that night, there was never again a date where sexual advances weren't made, and no was met with anger and withdrawal of love. So I acquiesced to keep the peace. Did you know that coerced oral sex is rape? Every Friday night, a piece of me was ripped away when I was forced to satisfy his expected needs. On my bed, knowing full well that my mother would soon return. That violation and subsequent fear evoked silent rage. Yet he was my boyfriend, then fiance, so there must be something wrong with me. On the night before our wedding, he threatened to cancel the ceremony if I withheld sex. My virginity was not taken with compassion, tenderness, and love. It was taken with a threat. Did you know that sexual trauma such as rape, molestation, harassment, and other forms of abusive control are often catalysts for eating disorders and substance abuse? For 30 years, I coped with binge eating disorder and bulimia, during which I developed severe and chronic alcoholism. There is not enough time here to relay how his coercive control cost me personally, financially. Treatment facilities, lawyers, and dentists are not cheap. I only escaped because of an inheritance. When my ex-husband and I first spoke 2 days after divorce, he deflected his culpability by shrugging. Boys will be boys. Trauma resulting from being a victim or just witnessing domestic violence is tragically entwined with addiction. Domestic violence has a far-reaching ripple effect. A large majority of women entering addiction treatment present significant symptoms of trauma related to physical or sexual abuse. Although not every eating disorder stems from a traumatic event, the statistics show that a high majority of them do. In a 2-year study of eating disorder clients at hospital, the most prevalent traumas were domestic violence, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Up to 50%, and this is very important, up to 50% of individuals with eating disorder use alcohol or illicit drugs, a rate 5 times higher than the general public. Up to 35% of individuals who are dependent on alcohol or other drugs also have eating disorders, a rate 11 times greater than the general population. The impact of eating disorders and substance use is substantial, especially when one considers the cost of treatment, decreased job performance, and reduced well-being. Recently, I became a recovery coach and took a lot of the training. No one ever mentions eating disorders when you're getting trained for this position. Every single time in every class, I brought up my eating disorder, and all the women in there were like, yes, yes, yes. So I think the domestic violence and substance abuse and eating disorders and mental health issues, and I love the speaker before us, have to be addressed with children when they're young so they can learn resiliency and to have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Sherry Stanley.
Hi, my name is Sherry Stanley, and I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm representing Worcester Anti-Foreclosure Team, which we call WAFT. I'm a mother of 5. And I just want to start my story with about the bank. The bank the bank's investor purchaser, sorry, I've been trying to take my home for years since 2017. I got my home through a divorce settlement from my from being almost murdered, and I was a victim of domestic violence. I was married for almost 20 years, and I finally got the courage to get away when it came down to him almost murdering me. I was told I couldn't work, I couldn't, just to stay home and raise the kids. Nothing was put in my name. It was all him. So he had the mortgage in the home, and he always threatened that he would take the house from me if I ever tried to leave. So it happened. He tried doing all that, but the probate judge had made him sign the title to me to keep my home for a safety net for me and my children to keep safe. So then it goes on that the Wells Fargo would not give me a loan mod, and the judge had sent everything to Wells Fargo saying that the title was signed to me, that there was the title exchange, and I was to get a loan mod, and they just kept denying me. They wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't even send me one. So they put the house in foreclosure. And then the legislator as a constitutional convention in 1976, the first article of our Constitution and Bill of Rights was amended from all men I'm sorry, I have a wicked bad cold. I'm trying not to cough. They added that to possess and protect property could not be denied, abridged because of our sex, race, color, creed, or national origin. This was then blocked up in the early 1980s with changes to almost all of the laws that referred that women did not have equal right to their property and had to go through their husbands. The last of these was in 1983, where they changed the law for mortgages on a home so that a mortgage could transfer from a husband to a wife, in my case, my ex-husband, to an ex-wife, without the bank using that as an excuse to call in the mortgage. I have been through number of years of hell in the housing court eviction cases, where the judges have no consistently reversed the legislature's actions and treated me as if I didn't own the property, and as if the bank could have ignored my attempts to renegotiate and pay the mortgage, and instead they foreclosed and then let the bank claim that they could sell it from my husband's former deed to them and through them to an investor, skipping over my deed completely. They were acting as if I don't own the property. The judges have let it happen, including most recently 3 judges in the Massachusetts Appeals Court, which have held that a deed can pass skipping over people in the published records in the Registry of Deeds. All of it is in violation of my equal rights as a woman and all of your equal rights as women. If they can do it to me, they can do it to everyone, even though the laws have specifically recognized my protection as a victim of a violent batterer. We are all in danger. We need all of the women of this state to come together, demand our legislate, get rid of the one last section of our laws that other people are speaking about tonight. We are supposed to go through our husbands to protect from a criminal eviction. We need the legislature to help us. Stand up to the courts and demand equal rights for women that were promised in our Constitution and made explicit in the 1976. Instead, our top court, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, has never taken up a case to affirm those equal rights. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Betty DeAndre.
Hi, my name is Betty DeAndrea. I'm from Webster, Mass. I'm a member and volunteer of I'm a member and volunteer of the Worcester Anti-Foreclosure Team, WAFT. I'm here to tell the story of 2 generations of discrimination against my mother and myself. My mom was 83 when she purchased this home. She sold the previous one because it had she had fallen down the stairs, so she wanted a house with 1 level. I was with my mother when she went through all of this in the most recent mortgage process before she died. She got an FHA underwritten mortgage, which supposed to be special government funding with special protections for populations who are likely to have a hard time getting a traditional mortgage from a traditional bank, including my mom at her age. When she died, we had a gap in the payments that they never let me catch up. They admitted in court that the FHA Federal Loan Protection, a face-to-face meeting to negotiate the settlement within 90 days was never provided. I was contacted, but they said they were going to show up, but they never did. It's transparent that the protections that come with this kind of mortgage are clearly violated. It's transparent because of the gender discrimination against women in getting loans, as well as no foreclosure by sale could possibly be legal in Massachusetts. In the last 20 plus years of this crisis, the Massachusetts foreclosures are overwhelmingly by auction. Although none of the banks have followed the laws in 128,000 or so foreclosure auctions in the state of Massachusetts in the last 20 years. It's 128,000. In my case, they specifically violated the special protections. But our first chance in court, a housing court eviction case, the case against the bank, the judge knew that it was an FHA underwritten loan, refused to ever address that they had violated the judge, knew that it was an FHA underwritten loan. Instead, he allowed them to claim to have sold onto an investor, purchaser, a title that the bank could never have legally had. This is a judge who years ago had ruled with numerous people that the claimed foreclosure of their home was illegal because the federal protections have been violated. This face-to-face meeting. The court also denied our constitutional protection to appeal in the higher courts, even if we're indigent and need government assistance to do so. The housing court judge is literally now planning to kick us out of the home in violation of all of the above. Women have been specifically targeted during these 20 years. We need each other's help. We need equal rights. Our Constitution gives us equal rights as women, as people of color, as immigrants, and folks who are indigent in the courts. Our legislator has backed that up with laws. The housing court operates with no due process rules and follows none of the laws. In fact, they're all suspended. As women, we are being stripped of our rights to own our home and to live in our home. It has got to stop. We need your help. We need each other's help. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Mary Ellen Patron. Mary Ellen.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
My name is Mary Petroni. I'm also here on behalf of the WAFT group and the Massachusetts Alliance Against Predatory Lending. I lived in my home in Boylston for 50 years. I was on a walker when I was evicted. I'm in a wheelchair now. My father, who served his country in the forgotten Korean War, he was talked into what they call a reverse mortgage before he died. I'm a woman. I've got severe disabilities. My home was supposed to be my safety. He left this to me in my will, in his will. I've never seen a will of final wishes not be carried out. Historically, when these people are getting discriminated in these home loans, it's all a part of the point. You know, that was supposed to come to me from him, this generation to the next generation, to my niece, to her son. That house was supposed to be in our family, and the Bank of America stole it. And they used the Worcester courts to do so. Reverse mortgages strip all the money that one generation has put into the home and leave nothing for the next generation. The bank would not acknowledge me as a person with an interest in the home because they said that I didn't pay rent there. They had specifically said that in one of my Worcester County court housing cases, that when I moved in, I didn't pay rent. And I immediately pointed out to the judge that when I moved in, I was 10 years old, and child labor laws have long since gone away. Everyone that you've heard from tonight is talking about these reverse mortgages or regular mortgages being foreclosed on, being evicted from their homes. These homes are being stolen by a system that was set up 70 years ago. The lawyers are lying to the courts. The courts don't have any rules. And us little people, what are we supposed to do? I go to my appeals court going, well, oh, the appeals court will back me up because they have to follow their own rules, and they don't even do that. Now, this is happening all across the state. It's not just Franklin County, Worcester County. This is all across the state, all across the country. And we're asking you, whatever you can do to look into more of what we can do to help ourselves, help other women specifically in this same type of situation. It's time that we are listened to and believed. This has been going on far too long behind the scenes where no one really knows what's going on. And we're here to tell you what's been going on. They are stealing houses and reselling them again to people who also can't afford them. It's a vicious cycle. It needs to stop. We've got things in the works, but we need you to be more aware of it and be able to help us with our cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Ellen, for your testimony. Is there anyone else online that I've missed? Okay, seeing none. In the room, Mickey Klempner from Turner's Falls. Nice, good drive. Very scenic drive up, wasn't it?
Hello, everybody. I am Mickey Klempner. I'm from Turner's Falls. I'm here today from the MCSM, the Young Women's Initiative, because I personally have a friend who has been back and forth from a mental hospital and for mental support around this area near Boston, and she didn't get the help she's needed. And that's why she's been back and forth maybe 9 times in 1 year. She could tell me all about when you go into the hospital, you have a certain amount of people who are there supposed to be there for you, certain therapists assigned for you, psychologists, etc., to get better as yourself. You're not supposed to be there to look out for other people. You go there for your own mental illness to get better. But she did not get any help, and she would talk about how she maybe met with a therapist 2 times the whole time she was there. She was there for many months. So she went to a hospital to get help, but instead she was there by herself, trying to get better on her own when she had a very bad mental health issue, which you normally can't handle on your own. And we've kind of figured that out, that you go somewhere to get help so that you can be your normal self again. And she really struggled a lot, and she's still struggling. And I think it's a big issue because mental health is really big. And I'm glad, like, as the years have gone on, we've cared about mental health more, but it's still a big issue. And people should always have one-on-one, especially, to care about their feelings and assert their personal mental issues, because it's very hard to go on your own with your personal thoughts and thinking all these different things. It's very hard. I'm just here to ask if someone can help in the situation, because young kids need the support, and also adults. I know this other friend who went to a similar hospital, and she felt the same way and left after maybe 2 weeks because she didn't get the help she needed. And she still sees a therapist, which is very good. But they need help, and yeah, I hope these kids receive the help they need to get better and not have to keep going back to the same place over and over. When you go back to a hospital, it's seeing those same walls again. She would tell me it's just, you feel like you're in prison, and you shouldn't want to get better from your mental illness and see like whiteness everywhere. It's getting better should be like colorful, and you're growing and you're becoming a new person. And she's grown a lot from learning new things about herself, but I think having people help her would help her a lot more. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mickey. Mickey, MCSM.
MCSM.
What is
We're
it?
located in Good Falls.
What is it stands for? What is it? M is, did I ask you a hard question? Go ahead,
Yeah.
stand up. You can tell me.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
My name is Marie
Okay.
Colonge.
Okay. Okay. All righty. Thank you so much. So all of you ladies are from that program. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that wants to testify?
My name is Marie. Can I please?
Oh, someone online? Who's
Yes.
online?
My name is Marie Colonge. Can I testify?
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Marie Colonge, and I'm from the WAF organization in Worcester.
Okay. Are you the one that's
I am
listed as
very
a Zoom
honored.
user?
Yes,
Yes,
I did
okay.
put my name. I'm sorry. I don't know why it did not come up.
Okay, and
My name is
that was Marie
Colonge. Yes, Marie Colonge.
Solange. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Marie Colonge, and I'm very honored to speak to you tonight. My family and I and myself invested everything we had in a home for us to live and have another investment property at the beginning of the massive predatory lending scam that has hurt everyone. I have only found out, thanks to Mass Alliance Against Predatory Lending in the last few months, that those loans were giving out knowing that they know they're going to sell us. They know they were predatory loans, and they know we were going to lose the house. We were innocent. I'm sorry we didn't know. We thought we were trying to put a roof over our head. We were trying to just settle down and make something nice for our family. And before 4 years, we lost both properties. And those people lied to us, and then they know for a fact that we were not gonna be able to bear the mortgage. They lied to us. They said we could have paid the mortgage and everything gonna go smooth. Before we know, they start adding money to our mortgages and things, and it's becoming unbearable. We feel so bad about it. We thought that we did something wrong. We are please asking tonight for justice. And I wanna work together with women issue and everybody else who have this issue at heart. So I wanna demand justice for all of us, and I'm willing to work and talk about it and do protest and do anything. And I'm willing to go to all my community, my Haitian. I was born in Haiti. A lot of Haitians, a lot of other immigrants, not only Haitians, a lot of people. I know a lot of all culture, a lot of people get hurt in that issue. And I want to go all over the place in the community, especially my community or anybody else I can find to tell them about this problem. And I'm asking people if they can please sign up with Mass Alliance Against Predatory Lending. The website is www.maapl.info. And please, I'm asking all of you women to join this movement. And I demand justice, and I think we should demand justice now from the highest court in Massachusetts. I encourage all of you to get involved in this movement. And I know women issues sometimes is not the top issue. Please, let's hollow. Let's look for justice. Let's search for justice, and we demand justice. And the time is now. We can do it. We can do it. The time is now. And I'm asking all of you, please, let's get together and let's. Thank you. I appreciate the Women Commission and all of you on the website. All of you who have who are working hard, just especially for women issues and for any other issues that they don't want to give justice to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your testimony. Again, anyone else online? I see we've been asking in the chat. I don't see anyone responding. How about in person in the room? Anyone else that would like to testify, please just raise your hand. Okay, looking at time and everything, I can turn it over to my sister commissioner to do the closing.
Thank you for joining us this evening. While the issues that we face are multiple, together we can tackle anything. If you haven't already, we invite you to share your testimony with us in writing to inform our legislative priorities and future data reports on these crucial issues. We value your input and would be grateful if you would take our brief exit survey. Scan the QR code upon leaving, or please click the link in the chat or follow-up email. Finally, we invite you to stay plugged into the MCSW. Join our newsletter, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or join us for any of our upcoming events. So we'll have our next virtual public hearing, The Impact of Health Issues on Women, Wednesday, November 20th. And be sure to save the date for our Girls Empowerment Initiative and Advocacy Day in spring 2025. And the links will be shared in the chat. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. Have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. And Bonnie and the Hampshire-Franklin Regional Commissions are here. And if you want to talk to those ladies before you leave, if you're interested in being a part of the regional commission out this way and collaborating and partnering with them, please make sure you speak with them. Tina and Shaitia have have the QR codes and some hard copy paper of the survey for those of you that do not like technology, because I push the issue that sometimes technology is not always for someone. So we have paper copies, and we have the resource books that Hampshire-Franklin have over there on the table. I want to thank my sister commissioners, all of us that have traveled out to Amherst for this beautiful hearing. Look forward to doing more work with you. What did I miss, Jalea? Who's that? Jalea?
They didn't call me, but I
Oh, okay. And who's that? Oh, we just did the Zoom user person. Marie?
Yeah, I
Is
believe
there
we
another
did.
Oh,
one? There's another
I'm sorry.
Zoom user?
No, there's only one Zoom user. Is there someone else that wanted to speak that didn't get a chance to?
I do.
And who-
'Cause I don't know
Who's
who was.
I do? Who's I do? Give us a name.
Lori Ensley.
Laurie Ensley.
Yep. I'm in for Edith Capistani.
Okay, Laurie. All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. In 2004, my daughter and I, both single women, applied for a mortgage. We were given two mortgages, one for 80% and one for 20%. The Predatory Home Loan Practices Act says that makes it a predatory loan. 11 years later, after paying the mortgage for 11 years, the house was still underwater. We owed more than the house was worth. So that tells you that the house was mortgaged for more than the house was worth. So they foreclosed on us, and they held an auction, no notice to me. They changed the locks on the doors before the auction. I mean, it's so many illegal things. I would like, as a remedy, to see the Supreme Judicial Court take up the issue of women's rights as put forth in the Massachusetts constitutional change in 1976. It's really clear that women are being given predatory loans, and I did not know it at the time. And by consumer law, I'm not required to know it at the time. So, I would like to see the Supreme Judicial Court take up the issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Again, as I stated, not everyone is good with technology. So those that are on Zoom, have we received all of the testimony for those that are on the Zoom link? So I want to say there's 3 other names there. I don't want to disconnect anyone. So I'm just asking one more time. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And we have some time we can network and fellowship for a little bit. And oh, and a group photo, if you don't mind, everyone mind taking a picture with us? Please come forward so we can do the group photo, because our communications person will drive me batty if I don't get us to do a picture. Thank you so much. Come up front.